There. Okay. So, all right. We are live now, but the podcast hasn't started yet. I'm going to go on to the page. I'm going to type this in. Come join me and V from SweetoViVi's YouTube channel as we podcast for episode, that's not how you spell that, 36 of the Dirty Christian Podcast. Link there, and get another link. Copy that. And all right. Publish. Come join me and V from SweetoViVi's YouTube channel. Okay, so we should see on the bottom, you will see, oh, we have 2 viewers already. So see on the bottom there, it says 2 viewers.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So we got 2 people already watching us. Cool. Okay. So let's give it 3 minutes. So we will start at exactly 2:45. That'll give people a chance to join in and watch. And then I'll start off the show and we'll just go from there.
All right. How many people usually join?
I think the most I've seen is like 11. But then it usually, because people, it's usually last minute and people usually are like, they're at work still or whatever. So they might try to tune in a little bit or try to catch the show later. Because I'd say each podcast video feed wise, I usually get 100, 150 views about total for that. But then the actual podcast, when I pull this from YouTube and I actually download it and put it onto the podcast, we get about 500 listens of that. So
nice.
It's good exposure.
Okay.
Not that you need it. Your videos have been doing really good. I've been watching them. You seem to be doing a good job.
Thanks. Still getting there.
Yeah. Do you have goals for that?
Yeah. Got lots of goals.
What's your first goal? Your shortest term goal?
Maybe about 5 million or so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just that.
Probably. Definitely want to reach 1,000. I'm at like 730 something right now.
Nice.
So definitely 1,000.
And you've been doing the videos for how long?
Since June 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll save the rest of the questions for the show because I do have lots of questions. I am curious. So,
okay.
But I don't want to ruin the appeal for everybody. So we're going to start in 1 minute, and I'm just watching the clock. It's like it goes really slow when I watch it. I think what's really cool is that you actually don't live that far away from me.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, there seems to be a pretty good amount of Washingtonians that are on the page. I always get surprised. I'm part of a couple different groups on Facebook too. One of them is a Reformed pub, and there's quite a few Washingtonians and there's like 10,000 total, but there's like 8 or 9 that are from this local area. So I think it's pretty cool.
Interesting.
All right. Okay, we're gonna start. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, countdown in 3, 2, and 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 36 of the Dirty Christian Podcast. I am Drew, and I am known as the Dirty Christian. I'm also joined by a very special guest, someone who is part of what I would consider the Dirty Christian Network. Whether she knows it or not, she is part of this network and part of this group. We have SweetoViVi who does some videos for the Dirty Christian and for herself. Obviously, she's been doing videos for a long time. But you guys will probably notice that the less tattooed, less guy-looking person that does videos on the Dirty Christian, this would be her. And contrary to popular belief, this is not my wife. This my wife's name is Rachel, and she's closer to my age. V could probably be my daughter. So I'm gonna let V say hello and give a little quick introduction of herself, and we'll go from there.
Hi, I'm Versavia, or people call me V, which is shorter. I'm Russian. I'm an artist. I'm a YouTuber. I've been doing YouTube since June 2015, and I really love it. I want to reach people. I want to preach the gospel to them. I want to, just make people's lives better. And I don't want it to be my channel to be super in your face Jesus, because that tends to turn people away who are not really into that. And so I just wanted to make a channel that's, something that everyone can watch and that, everyone can enjoy, and then, seeds of truth can be planted.
Yeah. So, and that's, I kind of think, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that kind of what drew you to reaching out to me to do some videos for the Dirty Christian? Because it seems like the videos that you do for the Dirty Christian are definitely like the in your face. This is the gospel. This is the Bible. Completely no compromise. So is that kind of an outlet for you a little bit?
Well, I do both on my channel. I just like to have a variation of types of videos on my channel, so that people will see, oh, look at this funny video, and then they'll lead to another video that's not so much, in your face.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of like a mixture.
Okay. And so what is your purpose? Like, if I were to say, sum up what your channel, like where your goal is or what your purpose is. Like, I know you kind of talked about reaching people for the gospel, but when you first thought of creating a YouTube channel and doing that, what was your thoughts, and how did that come about?
Well, I've always wanted and desired to express myself somehow, and I feel like this is a really great way to do it, and it can reach a lot of people, and I thought it'd be a lot of fun. And definitely, like, my main goal is to, glorify God through everything I do. And so yeah, I just thought this would be a good way to do it.
And what kind of response have you got from folks? I mean, because you kind of did this organically, right? Like, you just started getting followers, and then, like, you're up to, I think you said 700 something. So how did that grow organically? Did you network with certain people, or was it just kind of like people liked what they saw, they subscribed, they shared your stuff, and then it got to where it's at?
It was a little bit of both, but mostly just organic. And yeah, I just kind of started making videos, and the first person that I kind of majorly, networked with is with you. So yeah, just kind of both. But yeah, mostly organic, I'd say.
Well, I feel incredibly honored that you would even consider. My stuff was, I'm telling you, like, when I started the Dirty Christian page had been around for a while, probably about 6 months before I really started kind of focusing on doing the videos and really doing the blogs more. It all of a sudden it just started like hitting. I think I started with like 120 followers on the page, and then now here we are with I'm gonna probably hit 19,000 by probably by the end of the week, which I've said to people before, like, that scares the crap out of me. Like, please don't be confused. I'm scared to death of the idea of having so many followers, because I look at guys like Joel Osteen, guys like Josh Feuerstein, guys like Marcus Rogers that are constantly putting out videos. They have millions of followers, but their doctrine is so just jacked up. It scares me that, that I'm going to, that I am like that. And that's why I'm gaining followers. And so it really kind of makes me nervous. But I say all that just to say that I feel very privileged that you would even consider, like, the Dirty Christian being worthwhile and something that you wanted to contribute to and be a part of.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I really like that the truth is spoken and it's not just kind of sugar coated, and that's something that I think is really important nowadays.
Yeah, and that's and that's kind of what my goal was when I started it was really just being the anti-Osteen or the anti-Feuerstein, like just I don't want people to think that I'm trying to make money off of what I'm doing. I don't want people to think that I'm promoting myself or promoting, in the case of other people, their wives' worship albums and stuff like that. Like I don't ask for money. I don't have a desire to make money from this. And I really just, I want to see more Christians kind of, I want to have the ability to help more Christians out. The more notoriety that my page gets, the more I want to help folks like your page and others get that exposure. Because if I ever at some point make it about me, I think that's where I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose the battle, and that pride is going to kind of take over. And I never want it to be like that.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really big issue. Pride. It can really take you downhill. That's what I constantly pray for. I don't want it to be about myself either. It's ministry. I want it to be about God. And it's definitely something that I want to avoid.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest challenges for you, like specifically with pride? Because, I'll be honest, for me, I do enjoy the exposure. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say like, oh, I don't like the attention. There's a part of me in my flesh that really, I start to enjoy it. And then that's when I have to take a step back and be like, okay, Drew, this isn't about you now. You need to let it be about Jesus. So what are some for you? Do you have that same thought or that same thought process?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I get nice messages of people like, oh, I love your channel. And it makes me feel good, of course. But I know I don't want to get carried away and thinking, oh, I'm so great that I started this channel and I'm helping people. It's all about God, and He's the one really, doing the work.
Right.
Me. So yeah, I definitely I think what helps with that is lots of prayer and building a relationship with God, because really that's the solution to so many problems, just having a relationship with God. And that's the most important thing that we can do. Yeah,
that's funny that you mentioned that, because I feel like so many people, when they start ascribing to false doctrine and stuff like that, it really happens at the point where they are lacking on their relationship with God. They're clinging to a pastor that's kind of off, and they're just taking his word for it. They're really not doing research for themselves, and they're not spending that time in communion with the Lord to say, hey, God, what is it that I need to learn about this particular concept biblically? And then from there, it kind of seems to spiral out of control. I mean, that's when you start seeing the it's all about me. It's all about my ministry. It's all about, me as a person, and not about God anymore.
Yeah, for sure. It's a big issue, and even not reading your Bible can lead to problems like that, where you just depend on other people's words and sermons. And it's great to listen to other preachers, but you have to definitely have a strong basis on the scripture yourself,
right?
Because you can get carried away.
Yeah, absolutely. So who are some of your favorite preachers, pastors, folks out there that are doing, ministry and stuff like that?
Oh, definitely Joel Osteen, number one.
All right, I'm sorry, but we have to close this podcast out now. I'm going to hit stop broadcast and you're going to be done.
Oh no. No, definitely not. Definitely not Joel Osteen. Let's see. I really like, there's certain I know it's not like, I actually have grown up on listening to Joyce Meyer. I know she's like a big, mass preacher, but she actually has helped me with just some just personal things, and maybe on her doctrine is sound or whatever, but she does have to say some good things. And Yeah, some of her stuff is good. Um, yeah, I don't really listen to too many, but Paul Washer is definitely a good one that I've been listening to
Hmm.
recently, and he has a lot of good stuff, about prayer and stuff that helped me in my life. Definitely.
Interesting. So, it's funny that you mentioned Joyce Meyer because my wife has been a fan. My mother-in-law has been a fan. Um, but I hear a lot of bad things about her now, and I don't know if it's just kind of something new people are discovering, or they really do tie her into the same kind of prosperity gospel as Benny Hinn and Joel Osteen and Paula White. Um, but I don't know because I don't listen to her, and really some of the stuff, like I was having a conversation with somebody the other day. It's really easy to just take one thing that somebody has said and to make it
Mm.
oh, there is a person in here. To take something that somebody has said and to turn it uh, around away from the gospel. And was that a friend of yours that jumped into the?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Uh, awkward. I'm like, who is this person in here? Anyway, we'll start over with what I was going to say. So before we go any further, I want to mention that if anybody has a question, there's a Q&A button on the YouTube page that you can press, and then you can ask us a question, and V or myself can answer it for you. So if you have a question directed towards me or a question directed towards V, make sure that you hit that button and ask. So back to what I was saying is, so I think that you can take things that anybody says and find a way to take that out of context.
Yeah, for sure.
And there are thousands of videos. If you just type in any pastor and you type in heresy, you'll probably find like a video about what somebody has done or said that's heretical. But I would highly recommend people, before they start doing that, they would consider that a lot of the stuff that the people are saying are taken out of context. And
Yeah.
so for me, Joyce Meyer, I haven't really seen. I know some of the complaints are, that her husband really isn't in the ministry. That obviously the people that feel strongly about women pastors in churches have issues with Joyce Meyer, but I haven't really been able to kind of connect the dots for the prosperity part yet for her. And I wonder, do you have any thoughts on that?
Um, I actually, yeah, it's more of a thing where I kind of heard people say certain things about her, and and I actually haven't heard anything specifically about things that she said. Um, but I mean, she doesn't really talk about too much about hell or sin or anything like that. But she doesn't really say anything against it either.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, for me, she seems at least a good speaker about forgiveness and things like that, which really helped me
Sure.
develop my understanding on things like that.
One thing I think I remember somebody saying about Joyce was that she talks so much about herself and her own experiences that people kind of are turned off by that, because she really makes, like, she has kind of founded her ministry on her past experiences and the things that she's come out of. And I think that may be like one of the reasons that she may talk about the forgiveness aspect or the healing aspect, but doesn't really discuss on the repentance area and the sin and hell. Um, I don't know. I just thoughts that I'm throwing out there.
Yeah.
All right. So we got some questions from folks watching. So Mega Kid Icarus, who has watched every single one of my shows so far consecutively live, he has been in here. He asks, what's both of your thoughts on that Kundalini Kids clip? Do you know what he's referring to?
I have no idea.
All right, I'm going to play it for you. I'm going to pull it up here. It's a video that I shared, like maybe a week ago-ish. I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to have you watch it. All right, let me see. Go to share. video so people know what we are talking about here. And I'm sharing it now. And I'm going to play it. Oh, where'd it go? Uh-oh, I lost it. Let's try that again. Sorry, I'm kind of new to this whole sharing clips deal.
No problem.
Okay, so that's my Facebook page. All right, cool. So let me go to videos here. And here we go. You ready? All right, so that goes on basically for a good while. And that's it's from a church. I don't know where the church is from. In fact, the video was on Tosh.0. I don't know what church, but essentially it's a from what I understand, it's their idea of being drunk in the spirit. So what do you think about that video? I'll tell you what I think here in a minute.
Well, I have seen stuff like that before and heard of like diamonds and dust and feathers falling, in the service and stuff. And I can't say that, it's for sure right, and I can't say that it's for sure wrong. I'm just really wary about that, and I can't really find a place in the Bible where, except where stuff where it says that you have to be sober minded. I don't know, and I don't know. It just doesn't seem like something that God would have someone do.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't really researched it all that much, so I'm not sure. But I personally would probably just stay away from stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that, so doctrinally, I think that there are churches that cherry pick parts of the Bible, miracles or gifts or blessings, stuff like that, and they hold on to those. Do I think that God would not do something like that? I don't know. Obviously, God can do whatever He wants, and I don't know, if that's a reality for what being in the Spirit is. Certainly, if we're experiencing God and His Spirit is so incredibly around us, I don't know how the human body is supposed to respond to that. It seems like most of the time in the Bible, when the power of God showed up, people couldn't stand. Like they just kind of fell out underneath the glory of God, which I kind of get, and I grasp that idea of being slain in the Spirit, because I've seen that before, and I've been at churches like that, and I've experienced that before. So I don't know. Not all of it, I think, is wrong. But I do have to ask myself now, the longer that I've been, as I mature with the Lord, how is it beneficial to the kingdom? Does God get the glory in that, or is this something that is happening to people getting a benefit or glory out of? I think a lot of it too is psychologically influenced. So I think that as one person gets excited and has this energy, I think it's easily caught on. Like when you're with your best friend and you just start laughing at something, and you just can't stop laughing. I think that's kind of one of those experiences where you just kind of, it's a euphoria that you experience. So with that being said, though, there is a video that I shared about that video, where it's called the Kundalini Spirit, and it's this pastor who explains that it's really an Indian tradition, this Kundalini awakening, where this spirit in the Hindu religion, it mimics a lot of those very same things that we just watched. And he traces back all of those things to a movement called the Toronto Revival. I believe it's called the Toronto Awakening. It's something like that. But back in the maybe late 80s, early 90s, there was this weird surge of revival that was taking place. And this guy who had been, I guess, had been spending time in India, had brought this with him and was explaining these, as gifts of the Spirit. And so these muscle spasms and jerks and like walking around like an animal or roaring or this like never ending laughter, these were all signs of that spirit. And it wasn't the godly spirit that was taking place. So I think more often than not, when you see something like that, I don't think that it's the Spirit of God. But I want to be careful too, because I want to give honor to God in the fact that I don't know what the body is supposed to do in the presence of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So speaking of, here's the video that I wanted to share with you. Speaking of crazy, you're going to enjoy this. So there's this pastor, or I don't even know if he's still a pastor anymore, but this guy, his name is John Crowder. And he has, if I can say perfected, he has perfected the idea of being drunk in the Spirit. And this is it's so much so to the point where he talks about smoking the Holy Ghost weed and smoking Jehovah-wana. I'm using air quotes for those who can't see me. But he does some really bizarre stuff. So I'm going to play this clip for you to watch so that you can kind of see this crazy. And I want to see what your response is to this. So let me share this and play.
Is there supposed to be sound?
Oh yeah, is it not coming through?
Yeah, no.
Did the sound come through from the last one?
Yeah, well, I didn't know there was supposed to be sound for the last one.
Oh, okay. Well then.
Well, I think it kind of did, but it was kind of broken.
Interesting. All right. Well, I'm glad that you said something.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know. Turn my speakers up. I'm going to see if this works. Let me know if it comes through.
I think I kind of hear something, but it's really quiet.
Interesting. All right. I have no idea how to get it. All right. Well, I'm going to stop screen sharing there. Okay. So this guy he talks about, he like literally takes the idea of being drunk in the Spirit to like a whole new level, like that you should be like hammered drunk, like you've been drinking like a massive amount of alcohol. And then he speaks in tongues as he's talking. So that makes it even more confusing. So yet add another thing that he does heretically while he's presenting himself, but he speaks in weird, like not even like because I've heard tongues before and I believe in a prayer language personally. But the tongue, I don't even know if he's speaking in tongues. I feel like he's just making up words.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on tongues?
Well, I actually speak in tongues. But I don't really, I don't get on stage and start speaking to tongues to people. I think there's different types of tongues, and there's tongues for your own personal use. There's tongues that you speak and they get interpreted, and they, for someone else's edification. So, yeah, I definitely think they're a really good gift. And I believe that anyone can speak in tongues if they want to. It's like a gift. Not everyone, I don't think, can interpret, but everyone can get the gift of speaking for their own edification. because there are gifts, different gifts that people get to edify others, and in that sense, people have different ones.
Sure.
But for their own edification, I think that everyone can, speak in tongues.
Well, you and I have very similar ideas for that. So, yeah, I feel this.
Oh, I lost sound.
Oh, hang on.
Okay.
This is the video here. So, sorry about that. It just kind of came up. So, all right, we're going to watch this video here. And I didn't mean to cut you off there, but here we go. So we're going to watch this.
Is it playing?
Yes. Do you not see it?
I don't see it.
Oh, Lord. Why is it not? Why can't you see it?
Oh.
Okay. Let's see. What are it says to share. Do you hear it though?
No.
Oh, that's really weird. Why is it not happening? Maybe, do I need to share that now? No. Your mic is, let me try this. Hang on. Yes, no?
No. Now it's muted.
I should, this podcast is going awesome.
Yay!
Yeah, I should probably research this a little bit more. I don't know why it's not allowing you to see that. And I don't even know, people could probably comment. If you guys can see that video, let me know. But I don't know, it's really weird. Well, one of these days we'll get that up. We'll get that going.
Yeah.
I'll just close that out for now. All right, so again, back to the tongues thing. I totally agree with you. I think that tongues are used for self-edification. I do think that the church has taken a bit too far when it comes to speaking publicly. I don't necessarily know if the tongues that we speak publicly should be a tongue that other people can understand. Like, I know it has to have an interpreter, but I think that there is a different tongue from this personal edification than there is from the public speech. And I think the public speech tongues is in a sense, I am speaking a tongue that I don't understand, but it's an actual language and someone there is able to interpret it and understand it. But that's kind of been my thought on it, because I can't really get past the idea of why wouldn't God just speak clearly to someone or to a congregation when it comes to giving wisdom and speaking in tongues.
Well, I'm sure God has his own reasons for everything that he does, and that may be the best way that he sees in doing something. But I guess we can only just go off what it says in the Bible, and what it says there about tongues, and that's the most we can do.
Yeah, I agree. All right, next question. Jonathan Hodrick asks, question for either of you. You guys do a great job sharing truth and pushing buttons in productive ways. Do you get nervous and consider pulling things down? And how do you get past the nervousness and stay bold? So I'm going to let you go ahead and answer that, V.
Well, there have been times where I actually have taken down videos just because I've posted something and then later I think about it and I pray about it and I realize something I've said was not very well spoken or wise. So it's definitely like a learning process. But as for being nervous about it, if it's something I'm nervous about, then it's something I would think about a lot before posting it. So for instance, the modesty video, I expected that to be kind of a really touchy subject. So I researched it a lot and I typed my notes and I got everything together and I asked a bunch of people their opinion and I put it up and I actually got really good response because I was prepared for it. So I think getting past the nervousness is kind of just researching your topic really well and knowing what you're talking about and just praying about it. And that all seems to help me in the past. Right.
Well, I mean, and I think that I can speak for both of us when I say that as Christians, we expect to get some sort of flack for what we post. I mean, if we're talking about the Word of God, not only are we going to get it from non-Christians, but most of the time we get it from Christians too. Like we're going to get some kind of negative response because we don't see eye to eye with one Christian or another, and or they think that our doctrine is off, and so we have to kind of defend ourselves. But I will say for me, and people who've been following the page pretty regularly will notice that I do take stuff down. Like, and I come out and apologize for stuff that I say sometimes because, for example, last week I posted a video about Josh Feuer, or it was a picture of Josh Feuerstein, but it was about his video where he equates 666 to the name of Allah in Greek versus Arabic. And I mean, for lack of better terms, the video is a bastardization of logic and actual language. Like, it is not the Greek 666 is not the same as the Arabic in the name of Allah. It's not correct. The whole. So anyway, the video made me so frustrated that I created a meme of Josh, and I basically said, never mind the logical fallacies. How did he find a tracksuit that big? And I made fun of him, and I made fun of his weight and his size. And in that moment, I felt vindicated because I'm like, he's a heretic and he is bad, and so I can say bad things about him. But I will say, especially because Josh came to the Dirty Christian page and commented, but I will say that I did finally realize okay, that was too much. That was my flesh being my flesh and doing the wrong thing. And so I repented of it. I apologized. I did a video and a post saying I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I set a bad example as a Christian. My flesh got in the way, and that's me. And I'm sorry. And this wasn't a big statement of saying, look how Christian I am, because I can apologize live to you. Like, it was a legit, I messed up. I'm sorry. This is the example that we as Christians should be doing when we make mistakes, but I'm no better than anybody else. Please don't follow me. Follow Jesus, please. I'm not anything.
Yeah.
So, have you ever had an experience like that where you had to take something down similar?
Yeah, kind of what I was saying earlier with that video that I posted a video kind of it was kind of on the same lines, kind of just, but mine is kind of more just sarcastic, and later I just realized it wasn't a very wise thing to do. So I just took it down, and that was a good lesson for me that I need to pray more before my videos and before I film them.
Yeah, well, I will say the sarcasm in your trail mix video was actually warranted, and I think it was really well done. I think it was perfect for what we do with the Dirty Christian. And I don't know if you've been following how many views, but 4,926 so far. And that was after I posted it on Facebook today, because I reposted it. I had posted the YouTube link the day that you sent it to me, and then I reposted the video on Facebook this morning. So
nice.
Yeah, and so it's got a really good response. So if you haven't gone there, V, you need to go, because people are commenting on the video, and they're giving you a lot of kudos and saying thank you for what you put out. So you did good. Yeah. So, and really for me, the nervousness, I don't really get maybe I do a little bit, where I know if I'm going to post something controversial, I get a little nervous, but I'm not nervous for it being right. I'm really just more nervous for their response, because I take the gospel very personal, and I take the things of God very, very serious and personal. And so when someone blatantly responds to something that I post with either hatred or blatant ignorance, I take it very personal, and I get frustrated. And so I'm having to really learn for myself to just be a little bit more slower to anger, slower to respond. The boldness part isn't hard for me, because I feel like just like it says, just like Paul says, I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I know the gospel is true and right, and I know that God God will get glory in things that his name is attached to. So I have all of the confidence in God. I have very little confidence in myself for that type of stuff. So
yeah, it's kind of like a nervousness of being nervous that I'm gonna explain it wrongly and not very clearly, and people are gonna get confused, and that's why I prepare so much, because I've actually been wanting to do a video about homosexuality, and that's such a controversial topic that, you know, I have been thinking about it for like a few months now, and I'm still thinking about it, and just waiting for a right time where I feel ready, and for a time where I have all the information together. And I never want to post something just because, you know, it's the thing people are talking about. I want to make sure that I'm ready to talk about it, and that the quality of what I'm posting is good.
Yeah, well, you know, thank you for that, and I'm sure that the world thanks you for having relevance in your and a desire to be right, and to not just fly off, you know, the handle like I would probably tend to do when it comes to posting stuff, because I just feel like sometimes I just get so frustrated that I just will post whatever. Well, that's cool. So your YouTube page is youtube.com/SweetoViVi. And I know you're not asking for subscribers, but I'm going to ask for you. So if you guys are watching this or listening to this on the podcast, and you're looking for really good, wholesome videos that, you know, they have some sprinkling of the gospel, but also have some practical stuff. Like you talk about modesty, you talk about, you talk about boys, you know, you talk about like texting and stuff like that, like things that are relevant to your age, you know, this I'd say 16 to 21 year old, you know, scope. So you know, I'm way past that age, but I still enjoy watching your videos because I think you have a charisma about you that makes it enjoyable, and you know, you can get something out. So I think more people your age need to listen to you. They need to hear what you're saying, and that's what somebody actually commented on your video that I posted today. More people. We need more people in your generation, to speak up for the gospel and to be tried and true to God. So kudos to you. I know it's not about you. You don't have to be humble, but we do thank you for standing up and doing the right thing. So any final thoughts, any final words? I'm going to give you the floor, and then we're going to close out.
I guess just thank you for having me, and it's been great talking, and make sure to go to my channel, check out my stuff. I really enjoy making videos, and I hope to continue to do so. So if you could check them out, whoever's listening, that'd be awesome. So yeah, I think that's about it.
All right, cool. So for those of you guys, we're both cool. Thanks, Jonathan. We're both cool. It encourages me to speak up more. Well, that's then God is getting God's will is being done then, if that's the case. TheDirtyChristian.com, Facebook.com/TheDirtyChristian. That's where the conversation is. Twitter at TheDirtyXIAN, Snapchat as well, TheDirtyXIAN. I say An, it's N. But episode 36 of the podcast is over. It's complete. I thank you guys for joining us. I thank V for being here and just being a light in the darkness, a lighthouse on the hill for people of her generation. She is awesome. Check her out. God bless you guys. Take care. Dirty Christian and V, and we are out.